Matt Baggett announced last week that he'll retire when his contract ends in September. The policing board has held talks about the process to appoint his successor and for replacing his deputy, Judith Gillespie, who's retiring in March. David Ford yesterday announced that he was changing the rules for recruiting the new chief constable. The Justice Minister said he was removing a rule stating that anyone wanting to apply for the job had to have served a minimum of 2 years as an assistant chief constable outside Northern Ireland.
Members of the policing board said they were surprised and angered by the announcement. The board is responsible for appointing the chief constable and holding him to account. A number of members told me they believed David Ford overstepped the mark and had undermined their authority.
The board had discussed changing the 2-year rule, but decided nothing would be done until after Matt Baggett's successor was appointed.
Absolutely astonished. If you look at the timescales of what's happened here we have the board in the middle of a process of appointing both a new deputy chief constable and a chief constable, and in the middle of all of that, the minister decides to change the fundamental rules on how you actually recruit that individual. I think that is absolutely unforgivable.
It's unbelievable that David Ford should make this move effectively after the starting pistol has been fired for this recruitment process. It's unheard of that a minister should interfere in this way.
The First and Deputy First Ministers have signalled their displeasure by telling David Ford they regard his decision as significant and controversial and one to be discussed by the Executive on Thursday. Speaking in the Assembly today, the Justice Minister said they were wrong.
What I am absolutely certain of is that my decision was the correct decision.
He also signalled that he doesn't plan to withdraw his proposal.
I would be very happy to go to the executive meeting on Thursday and explain, for the benefit of ministers, as indeed I will be putting in an executive paper over the next day or so, the details of what's been done, to explain why it has been appropriate, why it is my role as Justice Minister to carry that out.
The SDLP have joined in the criticism of David Ford. They've also hit out at Peter Robinson and Martin McGuinness, accusing them of political interference and saying the recruitment process should be left to the policing board alone. Vincent Kearney, BBC Newsline.